Welcome to Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Arael Morocco. The ACIO has a long history of helping humanity from the deep recesses of time. This is the first time the ACIO has become available to the public, aside from an earlier visitation by their 15th Division, the Wingmakers. Peter the Insider, originally from Slovakia, is the director of their 12th Division, and Jessica Arael Morocco is in Cicada 3301, their 6th Division. Together, they provide intel, insights on current events, a deeper perspective on aliens and UFOs, super soldier missions with Unit 374 in the Merge, and news relevant for disclosure. Don't forget to subscribe to keep updated with our latest intel and post any questions and comments below.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today in Disclosures. We have some very, very important news today. I really need you to pay attention. This is something that you are going to need to take some action if you're from the area. We are disclosing information that mainstream media has not presented to the public. Whether you believe us or not, we're going to provide some information. It's really not anything that we would ever fabricate, but we can show some indications of it. And obviously you'll understand why there's reasons why this information they don't want the public to know. But we're going to come up with some safeguards and maybe some ideas how to protect yourself. So without further delay, let's get into it. Welcome in Peter the Insider.
So I want to say hello to you, Jessica, and to all of our regular, maybe not so regular listeners. You know, this is such a crazy serious stuff. I even don't know where the heck should I start. It is absolutely crazy.
There's an incident out in Nevada. We'll start with
Yeah,
that.
it is. So pretty much what we are talking about, okay? In, what do we have? Yeah, like 13 days ago. So it was pretty much May 10th this year, aka 2024. It was United States, you know, despite they signed treaty of unlawing, or let's say deliberating nuclear weapons in 1997, which was treaty, just by the way, treaty all the nuclear superpowers signed at that time, except one state. It was India, okay, except this state. And now suddenly we know in ACIO that United States of America, it is not like they started. They already started. I mean, like to get the let's say count of nuclear weapons. Some of them are just quotes in quotes just normal ones, and other are thermonuclear, or also called hydrogen bombs. And they started to manufacture them again once the pandemic hit the fan. I mean, hit the world. It was 2020, but in last approximately 2 years, 1.5, 2 years. So we are talking about since, let's say, be fair, since the edge of the break of summer and autumn, let's say, or maybe fall 2022, they started railing it. And I'm just like, what the heck? But there was one question that doesn't make any sense to us in ACIO. Because we were monitoring this with plenty of ET species, this activity, okay? And okay, like why in the world they are manufacturing such tremendous amounts of nuclear weapons without any test. It doesn't make any sense. And they started to test it, or let's say test them. First test, and it ended up with crazy disaster. It happened May 10th, aka this year, aka 2024. And it was, this is important, okay? This wasn't underground test, but it was on-air test. And they've got some isotopes of lithium and so on and so on. And they have some expected yield, and it was 4 times more than that. It doesn't make any sense how they can miscalculate something like that, okay? I mean, yeah, Castle Bravo in March 1954, okay. I can understand that at the time, and there were only tubes computers only, they can, because those calculations are extremely complicated and complex. Period. There is no room for discussion. I know, or let's say I can get that at the time there can be miscalculations. But we are now in 2024, not in 1954. And they made miscalculation. And instead of 4 megatons, the yield was 16 megatons. What does it mean? It was, or let's say, Castle Bravo, no longer, not the most powerful nuclear test of United States of America. Nope, bye-bye, nothing. They've got 16 instead of 15 megatons. 16 megatons of yield. But my question is, why in the world nobody is talking about it?
Absolutely.
This cloud, yeah, it looks, just for your idea, our listeners, that was, yeah, we can see the video of mushroom cloud. It is, or let's say it was, absolutely crazy. And this is what I want to say. Nobody is talking about it. That's my question. Why?
Well, I mean, then there's going to have to be a lot of explaining to do. There'll be panic. People will be running, trying to get into a safer zone. There's a lot of issues like this that need to be addressed.
Yeah, but nobody's talking about it. But not only inside in United States, but all around the world. And just by the way, crazy high radioactive, cloud will fly around the world at least 3 times. Some experts are talking about 4, not 4, maybe 5, 6 times all around the world, okay? And the question is, why nobody is talking about it? What do you think?
Full scale panic, but meanwhile, people will die and no one will know what was happening, and it won't happen. But I've been talking for a long time about fallout, and I've been seeing it, and I keep telling people that I was seeing this reality. It looks like a Fallout reality, and the bleed through of the zombies or what do they call them? They're not zombies. They're well, anyhow,
mutants. You mean?
Mutants. Yeah, there's some kind of mutants.
The ghouls.
And the ghouls. Yeah, thank you, Rolf. So I also want to show, because now you see this mushroom cloud, and nobody, when this happened, why is it that we didn't see a mushroom cloud?
Believe it or not, because they can polarize the light. They can polarize the light. So you wouldn't see it at all. No, you wouldn't see it. Or you wouldn't even notice that, of course, once you are not in action radius, that it will cause you some burns, heavy burns, and so on. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Something like that.
So they're more advanced. They can hide that, some of that stuff, that part of it?
Of course. Hell yeah.
Okay, yep. Here's the date, May 16, 2024. So this came out on the evening of May 14th. U.S. Department of Energy National Nuclear Security Administration successfully executed a subcritical experiment in the principal underground laboratory of subcritical experimentation pulse facility in the Nevada National Security Site. The experiment was first in the Nimble series, executed in the partnership with Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. The series will also be supported by Los Alamos National Laboratory. The MNSA relies on subcritical experiments to collect valuable information to support the safety, security, reliability, and effectiveness of American nuclear warheads without the use of nuclear explosive testing. The nuclear security enterprise will use the results of the experiment to improve our modeling and simulation capability, part of the science-based stockpile stewardship program that the NNSA has led for over 30 years. This experiment performed as predicted, consistent with the self-imposed moratorium on nuclear explosive testing that the United States has held since 1992. It did not form a self-sustaining subcritical chain reaction. This experiment and all 33 previous U.S. subcritical experiments were consistent with the zero yield standard of the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. The success of this subcritical experiment was made possible by a collaboration across our enterprise and our investments in science and technology, said Dr. Marvin Adams, Deputy Administrator of Defense Programs. As NNSA Administrator Ruby announced in June 2023, we plan to increase the frequency of these subcritical experiments so we can continue to gather important data or nuclear weapons materials with no technical need for a return to the underground nuclear explosive testing. So this is May, exactly like you said, May.
No,
came out May
do you
16th.
know, it is absolutely crazy. Why in the world are they faking date? Look, the article date May 16th, and they are saying May 14th. Nope. It happened May 10th. I mean, give me a second. The whole incident. No, I'm not kidding you.
This is the only article I could find, Peter. This is all of their information, and they're not saying that anything went wrong. They're saying we are admitting that they're conducting these subcritical experimentation pulse facility in the Nevada National Security Site in this Lawrence Livermore National Lab.
But Jessica, why in the world they don't want to talk about that? Because it ended up like a disaster, period.
Here's the facility. Yeah, I mean, we're putting this out somebody's not going to be happy. Threatened preparedness. It's a little too late once they do it, right? So what are they going to do to help anyone? The climate, affecting the climate. This is the the greenhouse gases and all that other stuff that, you know, is not, of course, not being affected by their experimentations, which they decided that the world is their place to experiment. Not in a controlled environment. U.S. conducted first subcritical nuclear tests since September 2021, May 18, 2024. Washington, the United States conducted a subcritical nuclear test on Tuesday, the first since September 2021, a government agency said, in an apparent effort to bolster deterrence against countries such as China and Russia. The experiment, the third under the administration of President Joe Biden, was carried out in Nevada to collect essential data regarding the country's nuclear warheads, according to the National Nuclear Security Administration. Although China and Russia, as well as Iran and North Korea, continue to expand their nuclear capabilities, the test is likely to trigger criticism as running counter to disarmament hopes in places such as Hiroshima, a Japanese city that was devastated by the U.S. atomic bomb during the World War II. The NNSA, the arm of the U.S. Energy Department, said in a statement issued Thursday that it relies on subcritical experiments to collect valuable information to support safety, security, reliability, and effectiveness of America's nuclear warheads without the use of nuclear explosive testing. It was said the experiment was executed on Tuesday evening in the principal underground laboratory for subcritical experimentation facility in the Nevada National Security Site. The United States suspended underground nuclear tests in 1992 and began the subcritical nuclear test 5 years ago. As the subcritical nuclear tests do not result in a nuclear explosion, the United States has asserted that they are not prohibited under the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, which the country has signed but not ratified. The NNSA also said the latest test, which brought the total number of U.S. subcritical tests to 34, did not form a self-sustaining subcritical chain reaction. It was therefore consistent with the country's self-imposed moratorium on nuclear testing in place since 1992. So they're already preparing and covering themselves. Tuesday's test was the first in the Nimble series, carried out from the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, and the NNSA said, adding it will continue a new cycle of experiments also with the support of Los Alamos National Laboratory. We plan to increase the frequencies of these subcritical experiments so we can continue to gather important data on nuclear weapons material and with no technical need for return to underground nuclear explosive testing. There's Marvin Adams again, who is the deputy administrator for the agency's defense program, said in a statement, 3 rounds of subcritical nuclear tests were conducted under the administration of Biden's predecessor, Donald Trump, and 4 rounds under the Barack Obama administration. So they're covering themselves, and you know, nothing appears to be wrong right now other than the fact that simultaneously, which I had no knowledge of, one of my friends contacted me and was expressing concern about a tingling sensation she was getting in her face. What are the I immediately, upon hearing this information, advised that she get some iodine or some protective measures to help her body.
Right. Definitely, you are right.
And I recommend anyone out in that area to do the same. And I personally am going to do it, and I live on the East Coast.
Yep.
And I recommend this for everyone.
Because technically, some people are saying, nah, for example, okay, in Europe, nah, it will be not a big deal, or maybe in Asia, nah, it will be not a big deal. Believe me, it will be a big deal. It is like, it is not, if we are not talking about, for example, okay, weeks, we can be talking about months, and it will hit you. And it will hit you hard, believe me.
Yeah, you'll just, here again, I already have, effects from exposure, radiation exposure at some point in my life where literally like the Hashimoto's issue and, struggling to maintain autoimmune issues that it creates, and so that too, a lot of people will be affected by that, and you'll hear about, thyroid cancer and all that sort of thing, if not, in the internal melting or it kind of breaks down the internal organs, doesn't it, Peter? I mean, it's a really
Yeah, you
serious
are
issue.
goddamn right. You are goddamn right.
So this is one of their explosions that they do as a trial, right, underwater,
Yeah,
which has to be hurting the ocean.
of course it will be, or it
Yeah, think
is.
about it, why we're finding, a whole bunch of dead fish, out of nowhere, and whales coming up on this is to keep the war machine going.
But I will tell you, it is crazy because pretty much all the clouds, how clouds pretty much, quotes in quotes, came to life from the water of ocean and, or let's say versus seas, and once they are irradiated, those clouds will be irradiated, and what? It will rain from the clouds, and the rain will be irradiated. Am I right?
Yes. And we were
That's
hearing about that, the acid rain, like years ago when I was a kid, and people would talk about it. People would collect water in these big containers, like rain barrels and things like that. And they're doing everything that they can to make this planet unlivable out of some kind of a false mode of a need for these wars. And the wars um, are purposeless, essentially, when you think about what is at risk and what they're doing. But it's like they're hell bent on doing as much as they can to destroy whatever they can in an effort. I believe a lot of these beings that are in leadership are um, galactic prisoners and criminals. I'll say it like that.
yep.
So that yeah, that's my opinion. If you ask me, these high level elites in those that are doing these things, because they don't have any consciousness. There's no consciousness at all. I'm going to see this. There was some more. Here was another. This happened earlier, February 16, 2024. Some people in Las Vegas wonder if someone was blasting in the area that causes a bright flash or a powerful boom that shook houses on Sunday. But you can see this has been an ongoing effort.
Yeah, this is they are doing crazy stuff. What I'm saying is one stuff that most of them were crazy, okay? But this ended up with like a terrible disaster, okay? And why in the world they are doing this stuff in inland? This doesn't make any sense.
No, they're acting as if it's safe. I mean,
And
there's little regard for they have their agenda, and it doesn't really matter what happens. And this is why I keep on seeing this. It's like I'm seeing through the veil, or I'm seeing into the future. I'm not really sure, but that whole fallout reality. But the fallout, they're almost like they're trapped in the 1950s. So it's almost like maybe it's a warning, like it was from another time period. But a lot of these underground bunkers were set up during that time period because people were actually listening and saw this as a potential danger. Now no one really listens to anything because there's so much nonsense out there. There's truth mixed with nonsense. You don't know what to believe.
yep, 1950s, 1960s, something like that. Yeah, you are right. At
Yeah.
that time.
So you know, that's we'll have all these articles for people to look at. This is some information that our researchers helped me find. The M1.8 explosion, 5/28/2024. I mean, this area, you know, this whole area has been inundated since, you know, for quite some time. This happened, this was in 2019, actually. Video footage of an explosion directly after it happened. You see people are running. I don't know if this is related, but it was an unexplained explosion. Here's information, Castle Bravo. They've done both underwater and underground. And as you said, it goes into the air quality, the clouds.
Yeah, those are old tests. I mean, very old.
They're old, but, you know, kind of, this is actually the Atomic Heritage Foundation.
Yeah.
So,
but
you can see
look like that. Artillery, and they've got, oh my God. Wasn't it crazy at that time?
Yeah, it really was. And then, you know, not an accident that they had that whole movie that came out.
Yeah, it is. Look, those stuff are, these stuff are crazy, or let's say they're crazy, weren't they?
Yeah, the mushroom clouds. And then, of course, all these people standing around watching it, you know?
I mean,
like it's a party.
I mean, like, what
And
the
then-
heck? But from my point of view, they were not fully aware of potential danger. But technically, my bad. Not potential, but real danger. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I found something very, very interesting I want to share with you, Peter.
Go ahead.
I happen to be looking at this super soldiers. I was doing a search for something.
Okay.
And I started looking down and look at this. So it's just basic information about super soldiers. You know, this is Marvel UK title Super Soldiers.
Okay.
And they're talking about the powered exoskeletons, you know, the uniform that he's wearing. And it was created by Future Soldier Initiative, I guess. I don't know what that is. It was a U.S. Army program that was launched in 2009, right? Equipments, weapons, and body armors, progressive, investigative, various futuristic technologies, mind-boosting drugs, powered exoskeleton.
Hey, I always talked about that. Mind-boosting drugs. But you know,
Right.
It is like they will add them drugs and, let's say, illegal substances, okay? let's call it that way and try to guess what will happen. Their minds will be permanently damaged. You know what I mean?
Right. And we've even like I think in World War II, the Germans used some kind of drug to keep people awake, keep them going.
Give me a second. It is now it is called speed, aka crystal meth, and it is pervitin. At that time it was pervitin. Yep, you are right. Yep.
So we're gonna come back here, and so this was science fiction, but you know, we know that the military was already experimenting with this for a long time.
Oh, for decades.
Warhammer, the Horus Heresy, looks like tabletop miniature games. You know, and they got people excited about it. Marvel Cinematic, and you know, some of these superheroes, the Russian Red Guard, augmented people that were heavily augmented. This is all the super soldier stuff that we've been talking about, but these are ones that are manufactured, not the ones necessarily when you're pulled into those programs at 20 and back or so. It's a little different, but this stuff is what's happening here in the here and now, in the eugenics, the genetic and engineering, the cybernetics. And, you know, we need to like specify and further clarify some things.
But give me a second, Jessica. We are talking about things those things for years.
For years.
And give me a second. Here it is. Official, okay, Wikipedia page.
Right.
Official program of enhancing and advancing soldiers in United States Army, period. If you like it or not, it is like how it is. Am I right?
Yeah, and as well as other nations have done this as well, because this one, the Marvel one, is from the UK, but then they talk about the Americans. So you have them, like a lot of people say, well, they don't think of the UK to be active in some of these programs, but they are.
Oh,
but
believe me, yeah.
Let's get down to China. Let's see something very interesting here, which I was like, all right, I was just looking at this, unrelated to our discussion today, or is it? In 2022, the People's Liberation Army Academy of Military Sciences reported that a team of military scientists inserted a gene from tardigrade into a human embryonic stem cells in an experiment with the slated possibility of creating soldiers resistant to acute radiation syndrome. Who could survive a nuclear fallout?
But I will tell you, why in the world I am not surprised.
When you look at this tardigrade, right?
Oh my God. It looks disgusting.
They're water bears, moss piglets.
What they are?
Microanimals.
What they are?
They can survive in extreme conditions. Would they get them in the Antarctic?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're found to be diverse in regions of, like, in the biosphere, mountaintops, deep sea, tropical rainforests, Antarctic. The tardigrades are among the most resilient animals known, with the individual species able to survive extreme conditions such as exposure to extreme temperatures, extreme pressures, air deprivation, radiation, dehydration, starvation that could quickly kill most other known forms of life. Tardigrades have survived exposure to outer space. There are about 1,300 known species in the phylum Tardigrada, a part of the superphylum Ectodiozoa.
Oh my, what the heck?
Consisting of animals that, right? This is crazy. So they can survive in space. They can survive under extreme conditions where everyone else would die. Even plants, animals, any sea mammals, or anything.
But I will tell you something, okay? They need to be that primitive. I mean, so small and all kind of that stuff, way of life. Because only once something is primitive, it will survive and work in certain conditions. Do you know what I mean? It makes complete sense for me.
Well, they're prevalent in mosses and lichens, and I'm gonna tell you something. There's a type of moss that's actually good for people who have thyroid or radiation affected issues of thyroid.
Oh my God.
And there's a moss that I take at times. So that's what they're eating. But I want to talk about, was it Doctor Who talks about TARDIS?
Oh my.
It's almost the name of, we'll put in TARDIS.
But what do you think about Doctor Who as a TV series? What do you think, huh?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, it sounds, it's entertaining. It's not, it's kind of like, it's kind of like the way people like Star Trek and Star Wars and all that. It's the same concept, but there's always intermingled truths in there about space and knowledge. What do they call it?
You are goddamn right.
It's actually an acronym for time and relative dimension in space, TARDIS. And that's what they travel in. So getting back to this tardigrade, I guess that's our friend. If anyone wants us to be eating bugs This is probably the only bug that would help us.
Jessica, please don't. Why in the world you are talking about bugs?
Because they want us to eat bugs for a living. They don't want, I mean, for life and existence, they want us to live off of their scraps, the garbage, because
But
the
give me a
things that they
second.
don't really care about.
But give me a second. I was in Africa. I was in Asia, and please, guys, please, okay. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, eating bugs, it's not that big deal, okay?
Did you like the flavor?
Yeah.
Tell the truth, Peter.
What? Give me a second.
Did you like the flavor of it? Did it taste good?
Yeah, but big bugs. I mean, not bugs. What they were? They were like.
Like a grasshopper?
Yeah, something like that. Can you write it or just can you show it? What do you mean? Because I don't know pretty much. Yeah, exactly. Grasshoppers. Yep. And the stuff is, they were so huge. I swear to God. In India, okay, some of them were 1 feet long, 30 centimeters. And so many people were disgusted by that. Nah, I don't want to eat it. And I was like, okay. Do you have something other to eat all around here? And those people in India, very poor people, just by the way, in this region, I mean, at that region where we went, and they even, just get a certain portion of what they got, and I was like, okay, why in the world not? Nah, not a big deal. They just cook it, or let's say fry it, and all kind of that stuff. Please, okay, Jessica, please. Don't let me wrong. It was delicious. No.
But we found that grasshoppers and things like that have different kinds of the body doesn't know how to digest it.
But what do you mean digest it? What?
If your body cannot properly digest something, it's not considered food for humans. It's just like you can't get a giraffe to eat meat. The body doesn't know how to digest
now I understand. Okay.
We can't eat grass, even though it's everywhere. We can't, go out in the field and eat hay because they have multiple digestive tracts or stomachs to be able to, like cows and horses.
No. Now I understand. Okay. Now I understand what you mean.
So
yeah.
For that reason, it would cause either some kind of mutation for humans, or many of them would die eventually, or have some kind of weird. Because if your internal health is bad,
but give me a second.
Bad.
How is it possible that people in India never died, and
because
they eat it?
If they grew up with that, their body had mutated to be able to digest it.
You mean pretty much like their ancestors? I mean, crazy amount of the generations of their ancestors just ate, and pretty much the body, how can I say it, adapted to the okay. Now it makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, it's like some people can eat really, really hot things and it doesn't bother them and it doesn't make them sick or it doesn't hurt their stomach.
Okay.
Like they create like it, or if a person goes out and works with their hands and they work in the yard or the field all the time, their hands get tougher. So they can touch something and they won't have scratches or wounds. They become calloused. So your body develops whatever it needs to adapt to something, but the older generation would definitely die off because
no. Now harder. I understand, but I will tell you something, okay? In certain parts of Africa, they eat caterpillars. I swear to God, okay, but not normal one. But they look like how can I say it? Like full of meat. It is so weird, and they are just moving so. How can I say it? It's like rotten, huge old rotten tree, and they were full of those caterpillars, you know, and they eat it. Of course, not raw. They bake it and also cold. And I was like, and they were delicious. No,
They also
no.
some people eat monkey brains too, Peter, but I don't know if I really want to do that.
What?
So
Why? Give me a second. Why?
I think I'd become a breatharian if I was forced in some of these situations. Maybe that's why you are a breatharian. You had to be in.
You nailed it. Okay, it's officially out. Okay, it's officially
Right.
out. And
I
was in
imagine that's just,
Uzbekistan or somewhere like, hey, this is, you know, some specific made, you know, egg, and it was like bull's eye or something like that, like ox eye, and then they were like, you don't want to know what it is. Okay, just tell me. You don't want to know it. And they eat it and you know, all kind of the stuff. You know, it was bull eye. Just give me a second. It was bull eye, and I was like, what do you mean? Literally, okay, bull. And I was like, are you serious? It was bull eye, and they said, here in Uzbekistan, it's the most delicious food. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, regionally you have different, you know, even in like Italy and France, maybe Spain too, I don't know, that they eat
weird things.
Well, like the periwinkles or the little snails, you know.
Yeah, it is crazy.
They consider a delicacy.
If you go ever to Latin America, everywhere, okay, ask for a huge glass of raw and extremely cold milk, because what they like to eat, it's crazy spicy, and they're like, for example, okay, once I was first time there, and I just ate it. I was like, oh my god, I will die. And they were like, nah, it wasn't such a big deal. And I was like, oh my god. So for them, it was nothing, okay? And for me, oh my god. And they like it because their theory is that such a spicy food will kill all the possible, or let's say potential, parasites. That is their theory, okay? I don't know if it is true or not. I don't know, but it is so.
Makes sense.
It was so crazy, and I'm like, why the heck you wanna kill me? And they are like, nah, it was not a big deal. That was so crazy. Oh my god!
If you're not used to it, that's pretty shocking.
Give me a second. I almost died. And they got like 1 or maybe 1.5 liter huge bottle of you know, very, very cold milk. And I was like, just drink it as fast as you can. And I was like, oh my god, that's a salvation. That was crazy. Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at, you know, in case anyone is worried or if there's anything going on, here are some of the attributes of acute radiation syndrome.
Okay.
Known as radiation sickness or radiation poisoning, is a collection of health effects that are caused by being exposed to high amounts of ionizing radiation in a short period of time. Symptoms can start within an hour of exposure, can last for several months. Early symptoms are usually nausea, vomiting, and loss of appetite. The following hours of the week, initial symptoms may appear to improve before the development of additional symptoms, after which either recovery or a death follow. ARS, or acute radiation syndrome, involves a total dose of greater than 0.7 GY.
Grace.
Great, okay, and 70 rad. That generally occurs from a source outside of the body, delivered within a few minutes. Sources of such radiation can occur accidentally or intentionally. They may involve nuclear reactor cyclotrons, certain devices such as cancer therapy, nuclear weapons, or radiological weapons. It is generally divided into 3 types: bone marrow, gastrointestinal, and neurovascular syndrome, with bone marrow syndrome occurring at 0.7 or 10 GY, and the neurovascular syndrome.
Give me a second. I just for some sort of, let's say, correlation, okay? We are talking about 70 rads, okay? 70. In Chernobyl, it was approximately, during the worst, part, it was approximately 15,000 rads. Just for correlation. 15,000, okay?
Yeah, so they say anything greater than 70 is a problem, serious problem, and you're talking about 15,000. And there are people that have survived that, right?
Yeah, but give me a second. Those were people chosen for this experiment. They've got RH factor X. That means they lack either plus or minus. They don't have any RH factor, like nothing, okay? So this is it, what we are talking about. And just for another correlation, what we are talking about right now, in Chernobyl it was, okay, 15,000 approximately, in worst, part stadium. What caused this explosion? We are talking about 10 times worse. 150,000. Okay? And nobody's talking about it. Nobody is talking about it. I mean, this explosion, what happened right now? I'm just saying, okay? Nobody is talking about it. It's absolutely crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh my God.
It's horrible. And there was that TV series about what happened in Chernobyl.
Yeah. Just by the way, a very good one. Masterpiece. Everybody who is interested in that should definitely see that.
So at this point, people are probably anxious and they're worried about
because what the heck? Look, we all of us, we know what happened. The crazy amounts of radiation fly all around the world 3 times. Now they are talking about at least 5 or 6 times. Give me a second, at least, okay? But we are talking about 10 times stronger radiation. It's absolutely crazy. And all of you, our listeners, I will tell you why it was like that. Because it wasn't just, by the way, standard bomb, hydrogen bomb, but they add fourth and final stage, what was cobalt stage. Cobalt stage is pretty much, people know it as, or let's say under the term neutrogen bomb, let's say. What is bomb specifically developed to release extremely high level of radiation. Neutrogen bomb. Yep.
It's just not, yeah, cobalt.
Yep.
It's a salted bomb.
Yeah, salted bomb.
Design a function and radiological weapon by producing larger quantities of radioactive fallout than unsalted. This concept of cobalt bomb was originally described in a radio program by physicist Leo Szilard. His intent was not to propose that such a weapon be built, but to show that nuclear weapon technology should be soon reach the point where it could end human life on Earth, a doomsday device. That's unbelievable. Yeah. And there's the Cobalt 60 showing the release of powerful gamma rays. Oh, we're worried about the sun. And look at anything that humanity has done is far worse than anything natural that's happening, and the natural things that are happening as a result of it. Look at all the shows in pop culture. That this is interesting they bring this up, because people mock us all the time. Oh, you just have video games and movies. You don't know what you're talking about. This is a science reference to the cobalt bomb. What do? They're referencing the description so people can wrap their heads around. It's a tool to understand it. If I hear one more person mock us for for putting out video games, I don't want to talk to you. Please just leave me alone. You know, if you can't come in and recognize basic information, then go and believe something else. We're here for people that are serious, that want to understand and learn what's going on, and all you're doing is getting in the way. You need to get out of the way.
You're goddamn right. Because this is, give me a second. This is serious, okay? Because most of the atomic bombs, hydrogen or aka thermonuclear bombs, yeah, okay, they were designed and built by being powerful, but in comparison with the yield, what is pretty much the specific term for explosive power, in correlation to amount of fallout and how big side effects it will be, let's say radiation wise and so on and so on. But this is it. Cobalt bomb is the worst. If we are talking about highness of radiation and how many of them of the radiation fallout such a bomb can create, and all kind of that stuff. Do you know what I'm trying to say? This is it.
It looks like there was a decontamination after the Goiânia incident in Brazil, 1987. Possibility of a dirty bomb with CO60.
Cobalt 60, yep.
Cobalt 60, right? So are these what dirty bombs are? They have some cobalt in it?
Of course, but they are extremely small if we are talking about explosive power, aka explosive yield. Yeah.
Decontamination of the victims, as well as decontamination. You have to do heavy decontamination. Then, of course, mass panic is one of the reasons why, and people might accuse us of doing that right now. But what should we do? Should we not tell anyone? I don't want to lose my.
That's my question. What the heck should we do once we've got certain knowledge? Should we stay silent? That's my question.
We don't have time. These people have to start taking care of themselves. Right now, here in the popular culture, these movies that people think is a mockery. So On the Beach, which talks about the effects of it. This is all for warnings to people and let them know what could happen. City of Fear.
And look at that. Give me a second. Look at that. How many of them were released in 1950s and 1960s? Look at that.
Because they were there. That's the generation that listens. That's a generation that wants to learn something. And I'm sorry, people could get mad at me for that too. Instead of hiding or getting upset or hurting your feelings or whatever, this is the generation that dealt with the hard truth. And then we started pulling away from that. So here is, let's see, Dr. Strangelove is another one. Goldfinger, James Bond movie.
Yeah.
You know, if people don't want to take us serious, okay. This Immortal, which is another movie. I never heard of this one, but also connected to Star Trek episode Obsession in 1967, right? And
Yeah.
Ensign Garovic states that 10,000 cobalt bombs would be less powerful than 1 ounce of antimatter, which they brought up in the show. Beneath the Planet of the Apes, so the Planet of the Apes have become popular again. 2024 version of Planet of the Apes just came out. Bionic Woman, The Doomsday is tomorrow. There was probably a show that featured that. Here, Planet of the Apes is underground mutant community worship a doomsday bomb. Okay. Tom Clancy novel, The Sum of All Fears. Noted Israeli Air Force tactical nuclear bombs can optionally be fitted with cobalt jackets to poison a landscape to all kinds of life in years to come. Is this far-fetched? I don't think so.
No.
The Doctor Who's New Adventures, Time Worm, Genesis, the planet Anu. Everyone loves talking about the Anunnaki. There's the planet Anu. This might be for you. Maybe you'll get the information if you watch it instead of focusing on, that the Anunnaki are here or whatever. Maybe this is a way for you to open up to it. And here, the Seventh Doctor, Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is from the Anunnaki in the city of Kish.
Just by the way, you are right.
Designated survivor for those that like to look at how Washington, D.C. is making these crazy decisions that are hurting humanity, which is true. The leadership in Washington, D.C. do not have a good history. And, as far as harming the planet or harming, getting involved with wars and so forth, even though American people never consented. Konami attempted domestic power play, which is common. And then they have the director FBI, John Forstall, in there, which is not surprising either. Special agents. Okay, so here's the one we talk about all the time, Peter. Detroit Become Human.
Yep.
Here it is, right? And they have an improvised cobalt bomb during certain endings in the game. The detonation of the bomb results in humans evacuating. What happens? Androids take over because, kind of like the TARDIS creature, right? It doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect them at all. So that's where
and of course, whole Metro, aka Metro, Exodus Metro, I don't know, it was
there. It is
Metro series, but I don't know which one of the all of the. Yeah, it is Metro games. Yeah, but I don't know. They are like 3-4 games, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Looks like, we'll look at it real quick. Metro Games, Metro Last Light.
And 2023, 2035, yeah.
Yeah, 2035. Moscow Metro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there is one last one. So in here, what Metro, because we've taught how many shows we dedicated to talk about Metro. Everyone's like, well, what's really important to you guys? And I know we had this whole thing about Nachtwaffen, and there's like tons and tons of narratives about Nachtwaffen. We've talked about Metro because Metro is actually a reality we can get into. That's more of a priority than whatever else that people have focused on, even though they get angry because we say this. But, our concern is the mass population, not just a community. So we have to speak out and talk about what is more important. So here, as events like this are happening, and we are at the brink of coming into this fallout reality, we need to stop it. We can't stop it if we're focusing on information that is not accurate. Okay, so if you're in the super soldier programs, or you have an interest in it, And you might think that we're being mean or angry. This is the reason. We don't care about personalities. We don't care. We're trying to get people on the right path. Those that have abilities, those that are choosing not to, that's fine too. Let's create that separation. But here's the information that we have. Metro is a potential. And by the way, when I've talked to
and just by the way, one of potential scenarios, and believe me, one of the ones we definitely don't want to let us end like just like that. Definitely not. I was in that reality. It is pure chaos, like absolute mayhem. All of the groups of people are fighting each other and everything, and I was like, what the heck is that? You just need to stick together and help each other. No, definitely not. Oh my god.
so
Because I was in that
right.
reality, or let's say context of existence. Nope, it was so bad.
You talked for hours about this because of how hard it was to survive over there, but some of these people had adapted. Somehow there were certain survivors, but not a whole lot, right, Peter?
Yeah, you are
And
goddamn right. Goddamn right, yeah.
and you said pretty much everyone was over in the area of Russia that survived. A lot of the rest of the world didn't even survive.
Yeah, you are goddamn right. It happened
Which
just
is
like that. Yeah.
something that we need to, that people need to take a little bit more serious. And also, from I've talked to Power Lady. Power Lady
But give me a
was
second. Give me a second, please. The most northern part of the Russia, so Siberia and all kind of that stuff. What is right here, right now, in this context of existence, in this reality, nobody who is at least just smallest, tiniest part of the being sane, or being sane, okay? Nobody who is sane will not get there. Believe me, in that reality, that context of existence, you've got no other choice. No other choice.
So you're forced to go into the coldest remote areas to survive?
Exactly. And of course you can't go, but give me a second. They were the only one areas, they were not affected by such a tremendously high levels of radiation. And once you go more to the south, either you should get special suit, and once you go even more to the south, this specific suit will not help you, and you will do it at your own risk, just by the way. Yes, you can be goddamn long there. I mean, yeah, irradiated and all kind of that stuff, because they've got specific modification for that. But even in their reality, they don't have, let's say, this modification will not help you for, I don't know, being certain, like for example, years living there in the south. No. I'm just saying,
I know. I mean, look at it. I mean, it just looks like nuclear fallout.
Yeah.
And snow, at the same time. What I was going to say is that the Metro is also a nickname for or part, like an abbreviation for the Metropolitan Police in Nevada, which brings us back to the area of connecting this in a way to what's happening out there in Las Vegas.
Just by the way,
call themselves the Metro. And I think even in New York City, I don't know if they call them. I've seen some of the train stations, because there's trains are a lot in the Metro video game, train station
Yeah, you are right.
named Metro. Let's see if there's Miami, Los Angeles, Washington, Montreal. So I was wrong about New York, but they probably have another one. In Boston, they call it the T. So that's the whole thing about Metro. There's one last show called Termination Shock, and it was a lead-lined briefcase filled with activated cobalt wrapped around a conventional explosive bomb with an intention of detonating it under the weather alteration gun to render it unusable for 100 years. 100 years.
Yeah, I know it.
And look what else they're telling us to look at. And there was another scare. We didn't have it live on air when it was happening.
Yeah, just by the way.
That happened again, didn't it, Peter?
Yeah, it happened again and again, and I was like, what the heck is that? This is not good.
Who did that one come from? Because it just recently they're aiming towards the East Coast.
Yeah, from Iran, because it is chaos in Iran, just by the way. It's crazy, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. So that one came from who was in Iran? Did you say it was Risov?
Technically, Eli Rizab, who is part of Shadow Group, you know, they just shoot down the helo, the helicopter, you know, with Iranian president, and he was minister for foreign policy, I think, something like that, and they got, of course, from obvious reason, they got Iranians very angry, and they started to aim all their rockets to US and all kind of that stuff. But I don't want to say how, but let's say we in ACIO just made another reality, and then we aimed the whole tension and the whole situation to this reality. It was so crazy, and
so
nobody.
You warned us. You warned me because it was very heated. We were in a group meeting. You had just interacted with Peter Toth, who is over there in Slovakia, and he was involved in the assassination attempt, right, to the PM of Slovakia.
Yeah.
And you've been in I don't know if you would call it negotiations or what you would call that process.
Definitely
that you're in right
not negotiations. It was like this guy is making made, and he is making fun of me because, you know, he believes that just because he got such a tremendous amount of money and they built an army, and give me a second, the professional army with extremely heavy equipment, military, you know, like the tanks, and they've got even the, you know, heavy artillery, and they've got jet fighters and everything. And I was like, what the heck? What do you mean? That I am afraid of you? Nah, I am not.
But Peter, you're not provoking him so other innocent people will get harmed. So you're doing it.
This is it what I'm saying. I will never do such a crap. Nah, definitely not.
So we have to figure out a way around this shadow group. And we knew this was going to happen because remember, they got control and they were able to manipulate the East.
But give me a second. I will tell you something, okay? All of them are so upset, and they are in control, the shadow group, and they sabotage this test because we in ACIO, and pretty much in cooperation with SUSO, you know, specific unit of special operation, in cooperation with Unit 374, we captured Header Show. And they are so mad at us. I don't know what the heck is wrong with Header being captured. I don't understand.
They needed her help.
Give me a second. That big time? I don't understand.
So here's the shadow group. For those of you, we keep on showing it. We'll keep on showing it until we have a resolve on what to do. We found out their origins when they came together at the UN, and one of our soldiers, Navy John, happened to be present there.
Yeah, you are right.
He, unbeknownst to him, he's still they wiped him pretty well. So you know, we were talking about all this activity, and now I talked about this. They gave me this timeline, and I talked about how they came through at a portal in Florida. Ironically, they went through someone's apartment, believe it or not. And in that apartment, or maybe it doesn't look like a apartment, but it's a portal. And in that space,
no, Jessica, it is not apartment. It only looks like apartment. It's a portal. Yeah.
Right. And the individual that was living there, they grabbed him. I don't know how they did this, and then used him as the fake assassin, right?
Give me a second. We are calling it
Slovakia.
decoy. Yeah,
decoy assassin. Yep. They
because
literally.
Our prime minister. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Decoy assassin in Slovakia in shooting of our prime minister Robert Fico, and it was like, what the heck? Why in the world? He got only one bullet in magazine. He shoot one time, okay, and that was it. And our prime minister was shooted 5 times, and it was also called home run. It is slang term in both police and military terminology, like police officers and investigators. They are using this term once they come to the crime scene and there are multiple victims and all of those victims are dead, period. Nobody is alive, right? And in military terminology, home run, it means if somebody is shooting to another person, or let's say multiple persons, and every single bullet is a hit, direct hit. It is home run, pretty much, quotes and quotes, home run, you know.
Which is a professional, not a like, you know, disgruntled person that was, you know, subtly mind controlled, right?
Definitely not. I mean, give me a second. On 120 meters, 115, 120 meters approximately, it doesn't make absolutely any sense. Not being trained. Definitely not.
Right.
Because
not for the damage that he had.
Because we were not 100% sure which how long was the distance, and we know it was slightly less than 120 meters, and 5 times. Yeah, of course. I know it is not that kind of crazy long distance. I know it, but still, 5 times direct hit. You know, home run. That was professional, goddamn professional shooter. You know what I mean?
Which we found out was Benseca.
Yeah.
Okay, so take a look at this, Peter. I saw this in 2022 when they were coming through.
Yep.
And the Council of 5 literally showed up, or some of them, you know what I mean, and showed me what was going on. So back here, let's take a look at who are the players now. So right now you're interacting with Peter Toth, who is mocking some of the stuff because he knows that you're in a predicament. You can't really be aggressive towards him. He probably has some things that will trigger off if you take any action.
And I don't want to turn Slovak and Czech Republic, pretty much not only those two countries, but also called We4. That means Czech Slovak Republic, Poland, Hungary, maybe Austria. Who knows? I don't want to turn it to a death toll, to a war zone. Do you know what I mean? And it will be death toll. I don't know how many dozens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands people that now I don't want to turn it to a war zone, because they are sick-minded, they are twisted-minded, and what the heck. I want to help on one hand, but on the other hand, those people are crazy. I don't want to, I don't want to be responsible on mass murdering and who the heck knows,
But your presence right now is making Peter Toth uncomfortable.
Definitely yes. Definitely yes.
Okay. Alan Benseca, who is also, he was the sniper that we talked about. He was present there for the decoy. He was the one that actually did the 5 shots.
Absolutely, you are right.
Okay.
You are right.
And they're from different countries. They collaborated because they're all like elite soldiers and worked for different teams or trained by different teams and, had gone off on their own. We have a description, explanation about the data that we have on them. And then, so now simultaneously you have Peter Toth collaborating with Alan Benseca, who has conveniently left the area. There was a tracing of him coming in or leaving. You had told us?
Yes, both. Yes, you are right. Yes.
But you don't know where he went from there.
That's a question. We will be so happy. And now they sabotaged this test because they created this miscalculation of this bomb on purpose. It was like, okay, do you really believe that all the people in US that you can do your crazy stuff now? But that's the problem. They did that, and what the heck? Common people in US, they have to make something? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. People, common people, of course, they doesn't have anything in common with what government in DC wants to do or maybe don't want it to do, or what is doing, or what they did. Do you know what I mean? And they are like, okay, and now there is your turn to suffer. And I was like, are you goddamn serious? And now, give me a second, I will tell you something, okay? If such a crap will say Roman Barkov, okay, I will get it, okay? But that said, John Lynch, aka Martin Berg, and I was like, what the heck? You are American? Are you goddamn crazy serious? Being American, and he said that, and I was like, are you that sick? Are you serious? He said that. Oh my God.
So say it again, Peter, what he said. He said that that he was related to that.
Now it's your turn to suffer. Martin Berg said to pretty much about US, and I was like, what the heck? Are you serious? If Barkov said that, or Vladimir Makarov, pretty much, just by the way, who is helping Barkov, just by the way, because post-Soviet Union countries, it's a huge area, it's vast area, just by the way. I was like, okay, if one of those will say, fine, but why in the world somebody who is from this country will say such crap to his own country? It doesn't make any sense. And I saw it. I saw it on my own eyes. I heard it on my own eyes. In the video, and I was like, "What the heck?" Literally, he said, Lynch, aka Berg, he said, "Now it's your turn to suffer." And I was like, "Okay." Is he talking about Russia? And do you know what I mean? Like something like that. And they laughed at it, like they were like they were drunk or they were high by drugs and something like that. And I was like, "What the heck is that?"
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It seems to be the trend these days, and also this MK Ultra stuff that they're, it's like a false, like they're fearless, but they're, so that they have this like I'm on top of the world and nothing can harm me, and it's a delusion, and they get into these weird delusions, and I know that they need courage and everything, but at some point,
But give me a second, Jessica.
realistic.
Please. Do you have one logical reason? You be an American and you will say such a crap. Such a crap. You will say.
It happens every single day in our leadership. Every single day, we've been consistently mocked as Americans since the day that the certain administrations have come in, whether it's Biden and some others. They mock us daily. They tell us how much we don't deserve anything. They take our money, send it overseas. They tell the elderly they don't need anything. They tell the disabled they don't need anything. They beat down the people that served and protected our nation. Every single day it's a mockery. So is John Lynch involved in that? Why not? It's pretty obvious.
Give me a second. I know, but for me it's still
It's not. I'm still every single day. Joe Biden surprises me of how much he hates our nation. I've never seen anything like this in my life. And it's so blatant. It's such a mockery. They're laughing at us. They're involved with Hunter's involved in all the stuff he's involved with, and
we even
doesn't hide.
We even cannot discuss on YouTube. Am I right?
No, we can't. But people know. I mean, but they can. They just show videos of everything he's doing. I mean, anything that is decadent and evil, he shows everyone.
I know.
That's how much it's in your face. You can't touch me. You can't do anything to me. I'm going to do it right in your face. And essentially, that's what the administration's doing to the American people. These are not Americans. And the same thing with John Lynch. I'm not surprised. Martin Burke, whatever you want to call him. So that we don't have an advocate here. There's those that citizens, I believe, truly care about what's happening here. But leadership, I'm sorry, this is bad. And now you're looking, same thing, Peter, your nation being attacked by someone that is supposedly from this region. He is, what is he, Slavic or is he Czech?
He's Slovak. Yeah, he's Slovak.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, but look at the way he's acting. Look at the way he's acting. And it goes for the same thing for all of them. So now Eli Risov, who was in over there by that whole region, whether it was Gaza or wherever, that he was Iran maybe, and that's where you said the ICBMs were coming from.
Yeah, so, you are right.
Does that mean Vladimir or Roman Barkov?
Roman Barkov and Vladimir Makarov, yeah, they are cooperating, yeah, and supporting each other. I mean,
all the same stuff just keeps happening and happening, and they're leveraging. They've already covered the East, that whether it's Asia, they're creating this whole system all the way over there, and then they're starting to make their move west. That's what this is about.
I'm just saying, it's so crazy. Oh my God.
And you're right in the middle of it, Peter. You're on the front lines over there, trying to figure out how to stop it.
And that's the problem. And look, I don't want to make, or let's say create stupid fight, okay? But look at the rest of community. they are getting to the events and they are having fun instead of really going and doing something. What is important? Like, let's say doing and helping this world, creating some sort of, let's say, very powerful countermeasures and so on and so on. And they are, instead of that, they are making fun. Do you know what I mean? Creating some sort of events and so on and so on. And like, I'm like, what the heck is that? Are you goddamn serious?
Influencing throughout timeline, even into the future, is 2033, 2041. We're going deeper into the future. The year 5007, 4012.
Yeah, they can travel just like that because they are having, time traveling. Ah, my bad. They had. Okay, that's the
But they
reason
already
why
did
they are
it.
so mad. That's the
Yeah.
reason why they are so mad at us. Yeah.
We don't have a page on SUSO, but this is the Unit 374 for those that were interested. Lincoln Clay, Peter, Anthony Zender, Olaf Anderson, Tyson LeBose, also known as Taino, Fry Wills, Mike Nakamichi, but also we'll get into that later, and Navy John.
Yeah.
So, and of course, I'm collaborating. And are there others in SUSO? Yes, we don't have a page for that. We do have other Kruger associates.
But pretty much in SUSO, there are so many people. They are pretty much the same as 374. Just by the way.
Yeah, we also have Jerome, or the Peacekeeper, right?
Yeah, you are right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and there's more. And there's more probably. Well, for this team in particular, is this team complete, Peter? Unit
Yep.
374?
Yeah.
I want to get back into some of the other things that we're looking at. I just for the sake of people that if they're having any problems, please revert back to this page. I'm far from being a medical doctor. I do know some things, but some things that have helped people and how to deal with it. I think they tell people potassium iodide is something that may be helpful. Consult a doctor or anyone that, some of this stuff is over the counter, antibiotics. And I don't know. I mean, it probably would require some research. Like I said, that there's different types of products that can help. And I'm hoping we don't have any problems putting this information out. We know because it's not going to help anyone. And if it does get, we probably will also have it on Rumble. So those of you get acquainted with our Rumble in the event of that, it comes out and then maybe someone isn't happy with this information out there publicly. We're not trying to stir any type of fear and people, get going into any type of mass hysteria but just take some actions and, do the best that you can to take care of yourself, shield yourself, especially if you live in that region or area. Don't hesitate. Watch over your vitals, make sure that you're doing well. If you have any of those symptoms, seek some professional assistance. Like I said, we need to report it, because if this is going to affect your health and nobody tells you, then I guess I'll take the risk of putting that information out. Better safe than sorry, and I am not sorry for sharing this information. So I want the best for everyone. Any last thoughts, Peter?
Definitely not, but I want to. I'm really, really happy for this show. It was much needed. I want to say thank you, big thank you, Jessica, for giving me the opportunity to be in this show. I want to say thank you for our regular and maybe not so regular listeners that they stick with us till the end of the show. Stay healthy, stay safe, and stay strong. And I am really looking forward for next time. Till then, hold tight and bye bye.
And thank you, everyone. Please post comments below if anyone has some advice that they want to share. Please do so. We're going to provide all of the links so you can review everything that we have. And yeah, something like this, people might say, well, if that actually happened, it would be in the news. We don't know. Some things that they post, some things they don't. It at this point, it doesn't really matter. Worst case scenario, we would be wrong, and then everyone's okay. I mean, otherwise, if we're right, then many people are at risk. So get the information out, share it with people. Thank you, everyone. Stay well, stay healthy, stay strong. Use your abilities for positive things instead of manipulating people, trying to attack other people that you don't like or whatever. Just use your abilities to create shields of protection and something that is productive, actually. You have those abilities. There's a reason why. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You have been watching Disclosures. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Visit www.acio-official.org and www.readingsbyarael.com to book a private session with Jessica. Feel free to support our work. All links can be found in the description. Thank you, and until next time.